Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overwatch League here from lovely sunny Los Angeles. My name is Mitch Leslie here with Matthew Morello. What a day it's been so far. It all starts off with Liverpool beating Chelsea, amazing. Then incredible Overwatch games, and then of course a fantastic TV premiere afterwards. But this match is one I'm looking forward to because I want to see just how teams rebuild in times of trouble. You know, I mean, Matt's like, where's the silver lining here?
You got New York versus Florida.
It's definitely a little bit of a mismatch on paper here, but there are definitely silver linings for the Mayhem now going forward.
Look, Florida is rebuilding. They told us that they're rebuilding this roster, making it better, and it's not going to happen quickly. You see the remaining schedule here for Stage 2. A lot of tough games. NYXL, the Gladiators, Dragon's Fuel.
Potentially very tough.
4 really tough games. They have looked better. They played London close. The games with Philly back and forth. Same with Paris. Able to get some map wins on the board. They just want to result in some wins. It's just you got some tough ones coming up.
Yeah, they've not been 4-0'd in the past, to be fair. But NYXL, this is what I would consider a easier schedule for this stage.
I mean, they're really happy with this draw, right? The game against Philly always plays New York pretty tough, but the back-to-back against Atlanta, that's going to be really difficult for Atlanta, as that'll be the closing of their stage.
I mean, only one thing's harder than playing New York once, it's twice, I suppose. They're going to have to deal with them. New York looking comfortable. So we saw Flower finally make his debut in their last game, and we got to see him play a little bit actually outside of the Brigitte here. Obviously, the Genji was what was showcased for us. Now, we don't know necessarily if he's going to be in the starting roster today. It's unlikely, in fact, that he begins the game on the field, but we've waited a long time to see this guy play. I mean, Flower has been a player in Overwatch for a long, long time. In fact, he's played sort of in the sister team of LW Blue, which is LW Red. And Flower actually did win a tournament with LW Red, which is an IEM, under the name of Nanohana. So that's the only title he's ever taken in Overwatch now. So he definitely is out there hunting for more, as are New York.
Yeah, and I think what you've seen from Flower thus far is, just a little bit of his hero pool. I think as time goes on, maybe they incorporate him more into the lineup, but I don't know if you're going to see him quite often here early on.
That's why. Well, let's bring him out, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make some noise for the New York Excelsior. No one knows really how this team failed to achieve in the Stage 1 playoffs. They were stopped by Seoul. In fact, we do know. We have theories about it. But the reality is that it just shouldn't have happened. This team is one that has always set the bar very high in the Overwatch League. But sometimes they have failed to meet the expectations they themselves have set.
Look, I mean, still undefeated, in terms of regular season play. You did lose during the playoffs, but still on a really good pace for the entire season. Get to those season playoffs. I think they'll trade all the stage playoffs in the world if they win the big one at the end.
Again, the stage playoff win-loss record doesn't actually count towards your season standings at the end of the day. In fact, it's just a little way to cap off the stage. You're best off looking at is the whole season as a whole, and not just the stage as a mini tournament here. That's the NYXL roster for you now, and they're chomping at the bit their opponents to get out on stage. So let's give them a warm welcome too. It's the Florida Mayhem. Leading the way is someone, Matt, that I enjoy talking about. I think he adds definitely a spark of life to this team, BQB. I don't feel like in Stage 1 he was maybe used to his fullest potential, but now that opportunity is definitely coming.
Yeah, I feel like he's been their strongest player thus far. I think if you look for a bright spot on Florida, BQB is definitely a player we've seen play at a high level in the past. I think you can definitely build around Hagaput as well. Played with the London Spitfire last year, very good flex support. I do think, though, there's going to be a lot of changes as we move forward with the roster.
And that's been sort of teased to us by management of the Florida Mayhem. They're looking to continue to transition.
But I think you'll just see players added to the roster. I think these players will remain. I think you'll see just more players being added, whether those players become starters or not. That's kind of determined on how they fit in with everybody.
However, there's no shortage of depth on this current roster. The reason why I bring up BQB and that Sombra is because we've seen very good things from him in the past. Again, you're playing a hero that can essentially pave the way for your team to win a fight. So you are not carrying the game necessarily on your own, but you are facilitating your team in a huge way. And we've seen even the very best teams struggle with Sombra play. I bring you back to the example of New York in a Stage 1 playoffs. They were gutted by that. BQB is definitely the player to do that same thing to them on the Florida Mayhem. Just the rest of the pieces need to fit together. Here was obviously Michelle from the Seoul Dynasty stopping New York from advancing in those playoffs with a huge EMP that they couldn't do a thing about. New York's team fight win rate, as you might expect, drops about 25 to 30% if they get EMP'd. It shouldn't be a shock to you. Here's your map pool anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you, of course, by Toyota. Let's see where we're headed first, Matt.
Yeah, Oasis to kick things off, followed by Paris, Kings Row, and Junkertown. So maps where you can see a lot of different odd things run here, where I think, Florida really want to win this series. I think they'll bust out some interesting compositions.
Maybe not Ashe, though. I think that might be pushing it a little bit too far. I think Ashe is maybe one of the only heroes that really hasn't seen
not
game
a ton,
time.
not a ton. I think right now Ashe is in a spot that's also kind of covered by the Widowmaker, the McCree, Hanzo 76 type of pick.
Now, we saw her briefly yesterday, but she does sort of represent that overlap between McCree and Widowmaker. It doesn't quite do each of those things as well as the counterparts. So we're out of the gate here.
Yeah, we'll get into things as it'll be triple tank, triple support for NYXL. They'll have the Winston, though, as the main tank in the middle. For the Florida Mayhem, you'll see Saya player on the Soldier 76. Fantastic hit scan player.
Yeah, a real weapon for the Florida Mayhem in the past. NYXL will try ahead of the high ground map, but they get hit with a massive body grenade. And Mano being as low as he is, they can't really contest. Chris just strolls on up and gets himself a cheeky double. And NYXL going to be bundled back towards their spawn, perhaps getting slightly ahead of themselves early.
And we'll see if they decide to make any changes, but will be the Florida Mayhem, who should be able to control the point first. They want to go kill Jonak first. Now they'll go back to the point. We can see this from Chris's POV.
I mean, they're
double
low.
group off the side. Yeah, they're low. They're all grouped up around the edge.
That was the thing. New York were forced into that position, Matt, because they had to retreat. They got hit with a large bodied grenade, of course, from Hagapun. And couldn't really hang around and play on the high ground, so they were pretty much done from there. Big Ananate to answer the fight.
Now, you know, Side players on this Florida Mayhem roster last year, and people were wondering why we didn't see him play like a ton more. I think when we've seen him play now, it's, he's kind of been a mainstay since they talked about changing this roster up. He's been quite good. You have Chris dropping here early, so you lose all disengage from Florida.
Look, Side player doesn't really want to be here, Matt. On the low ground with a lot of shields and barriers in his way as well. There's a big Winston behind him. He can't do a heck of a lot on that Soldier 76. New York successfully, not only do they claim the high ground map, but they push Florida off, force them to play on the low ground, and it doesn't really suit them, especially with the composition that they had.
Yeah, now you're going to see Side players switch over to Zarya now. That's going to put him behind heavily in favor of ult charge compared to Nene. And you know how Nene builds these grabs. She probably gets a second one before we see Zarya player get it first.
Straight out of the gates,
yeah.
He was an incredible Zarya player on the NYXL coming up from their academy team and has disappointed approximately 0.
No, and you also had Swan burn Primal Rage in the last fight, so you still have the Primal Rage of Mono to be able to extend the point. You needed it.
Oh, big start on Swan as he's trying to get away. That's forced the Nano Boost on towards the Winston. Hagapun doing it to Swan just to try and keep him alive, but Nene just throws a Graviton Surge around a corner, then breaks line of sight from the self-destruct that would have blown up behind him. Now NYXL can push forward. Even though Florida were actually given a bit of breathing room in that fight because New York had to spread from the blast, they still get crushed. The healing wasn't there.
And I think there's a miscommunication that goes down here for the Florida Mayhem. And it's quite interesting. We don't really talk a lot about the cooldowns of Winston with the bubble or the jump pack, but you had Swan go in, and then he gets quite low, and he uses his jump pack to come back, and as he's coming back to the rest of his team, they nano boost him. And then he has no capability to get anything out of the nano boost because he has no jump pack to get back to the other team.
All it does is...
But if you knew you were getting the nano boost, you may as well stay there, get the nano boost. You're going to get the heal regardless, then go in.
Much more value from using it aggressively there. Jonak, he got the sleep. Swan in mid-jump, so he sort of flies up, sort of like reverse skydiver, but that takes one out of the fight for now. He has woken up, but trouble now starting to come the Mayhem's way. Mano is nano boosted. BQB a little bit low there. Notice he gets body grenaded. So does Chris. Florida Mayhem are looking very fragile now. It's just about New York leaning into them a little bit more, and they do just that. Mano has a Primal Rage, and oh dear, that Graviton Surge, man, didn't do a whole lot at all. New York at 97% now, about to take this round away, and really, they make it look pretty easy. It's going to be Zephyr suited now on the point. Mini-Diva can't do a heck of a lot. It barely takes up any space at all. And first round, New York.
But I love that we caught that, though, because Mono gets the effects of the nano boost, and he's there able to just put down just like cleave damage that Winston does, push them back a little bit. He has so much survivability because he also has Primal Rage there as well to keep pushing players back. And I think if you're going to have an Ana, you want to get great use of the nano boost, right? Obviously, damage reduction, you do more damage. It's got a heal to it. And why use it when you're jumping back towards your teammates and then you're just kind of stuck in no man's land? Use it more like how New York just used it there to get some damage down, force some positioning.
Florida, the Their original idea looked good, it worked for them, controlling that high ground, but as soon as they were pushed off of it and had to come to New York, that's when their plans fell to pieces. Straight out of the gates here, Matthew, nothing overly surprising. Both teams opting into playing Winston here, which is curious. Sometimes we see the Ryan.
I mean, you know, this is the composition that I think, obviously this, and then with the Reinhardt in for the Winston, you need to be good at these. You need to have this to fall back on. We have seen some really interesting compositions on this point specifically. You know, a Hangzhou Spark coming out with a Bastion, but early, I mean, you lose Swan. You can't. I mean, you start to lose your main tank really early and often in these fights. A team like New York's not going to let you off the hook. They're going to punish you bad.
Your strategy can be as well researched. It can be as elaborate as you like. But if you can't match up to your opponents in fights like that on a fundamental level, none of the bells and whistles are going to make any difference. Florida just couldn't get the engagement they wanted.
It's quite interesting. They, you know, Swan goes down first. There's more damage on the side of Florida because they have that Zenyatta, right? The Discord's in play for Hagapun with Jonak still playing the Ana here, so.
He doesn't seem to be too threatened at this stage. Animo takes a stray orb from Hagapun and a bit of splash damage from Swan as he tried to engage on the high ground. And a 3-player Bardic Grenade is going to slow the Mayhem down drastically. Go again, straight away. You see Swan trying to get that high ground, got booped away instantly. Zephyr taking a ton of damage, another Bardic Grenade, this time only catching on towards Sire player. Jonak feeling comfortable enough that he can just go for damage and poke himself.
I mean, they want to jump Jonak here at the bench. I mean, that's how you kind of go about it.
Oh, I got booped again.
Swan just keeps going in the same way every single time.
Now New York kind of done with the fun and games. Time to get a little bit evil here. Mane's going to get nano boost and jump straight on in, and it's over almost as quickly as it's begun. Florida cannot gain purchase on the high ground. They cannot start a fight against New York in any sort of advantageous position.
Well, if New York controls the high ground, what does Florida do here with their Graviton Surge? If they throw it up, how are they going to get any follow-up? It seems like New York's been really strong at booping these players away from the high ground.
Matt, why not play Reinhardt, go the left-hand side and try and push up yourself onto the high ground?
I mean, at that point, I think you just see a rotation with the speed boost come out of New York, and they would just rotate all the way back to the choke here. So you're just kind of, you're circling them over and over again.
Maybe it gives you a better grab opportunity than presumably. 3-man Bardic Grenade, Jonak causing problems here. Swan, oh, he was put to sleep and then knocked over the edge. That's so gross. Never had a charge BCB is grab. It's eaten. You would have thought that Excelsior have eaten their fill by now, but I guess not. Self-destruct in. No one from New York's going to get caught out by that one. It's 99%, heading towards overtime. And the Florida Mayhem have not brought the A game so far. Zephyr, oh, he's a one-way train to D-Suitville. He is. Knocked straight on out. 99-0 will be a full shutout here if Florida can't manage something. And they have absolutely nothing to bring here. NYXL, just an absolutely one-sided first map.
I mean, New York does that to a lot of teams. Florida, very tough to get anything going there on our second point. They showed some signs there on our first point, but point 2, all New York. Map 1 in favor to NYXL.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Florida Mayhem. Definitely in the David versus Goliath setup here against the NYXL, who broke no nonsense here. It was a very swift map one in favor of New York.
Not too surprising. I think Florida, I think this is definitely a great match where they can work on some stuff, see how they match up against New York. I think you've seen Florida play teams close. I think there's a difference between teams and New York, though.
By the way, All-Stars is coming up, so you can vote for your 2019 All-Star Game starters. Overwatchleague.com/all-stars. That's an all dash in the middle there. Powered by our friends at Intel. Get around it.
You could vote for anybody on New York, and I think it's a pretty good vote. Wouldn't really argue with that.
Absolutely. We struggle sometimes to create our super teams without New York being, predominating in that one.
Yeah.
However, I mean, this is a great year because we have tons of diversity of talent at the very top level, so I'm looking forward to that. I hope I don't have to play in the talent match again. Like I said today. I've had enough. here's Jonak, by the way, Sleep Dart. Watch this. Knocked off and Sleep Dart at the same time. You know what's even better than that? Jonak survives.
Did he actually go around by the other side by the health pack?
He was able to path sort of back to the left of the screen and stay alive. So that's just, now you're just starting to flex on people.
All right, so Florida on D. No bunker with the Baptiste and the Ashton as a side player. That is actually probably a scope over the top of the wall there. It'd be sick to see that from his POV. But, you have the Orisa with the Junkrat there sitting up on the lower platform. The Mercy for the damage boost to the Junkrat for the Widow.
I see your passive-aggressive comments, Matt. They worked.
Well, I mean, it wasn't.
You're always passive-aggressive.
Oh, okay, so
it's just a shot. Just a big Sire player shot.
I gave him more credit than he deserved.
If you have the command center, by the way, go and watch a Sire play because he has very high sensitivity. He's very flicky as a sniper player. It's really fascinating to watch. But I digress now. We're going to continue. Jonak trying to play the left-hand side, hoping for a big bio nade. Doesn't connect. Oh, Sire. Ouch! That's a headshot on Anna. That's not easy to hit.
As Jonak's just letting his sleep dart just come out one hand.
Give me that IMAX 3D Sire player cam. I'm all about it. Let's go. I don't care if he doesn't hit anything. Well, it's 20 minutes.
I mean, you've lost BQB now. I mean, that's a large source of the damage. Sire player can one-shot some of these squishy heroes, but honestly, not a ton of them for New York.
BQB doesn't need to be getting picked off there. I'm sure he's going to be hating life. Junkrat wants to try and stay safe and stay back. Doesn't really have any business dying to Zaya, who's relatively short range by comparison. Mono, he's going to have a look what's happening in the backyard. Oh, hey, you go, there's your father. Chris is down.
I love the positioning there. The positioning there from Mono is perfect. So a lot of times, I'm sure people playing at home, they'll end up just chasing the Widowmaker. What he does is he just positions himself between Chris and Saya player, and there's no opportunity for the Mercy to fly out. The Mercy's just kind of stuck in that situation. Really nice positioning there from Mono.
I mean, what a great way to set up a play that looks, for Mono, very effortless, right? But has a lot behind it in terms of knowing where he needs to be.
And he essentially gets 2 for 1, getting both.
And he just walks at them, Matt. Just gives him the old tickle. Fair enough. Mono looking incredibly good so far in this match. When everyone on NYXL is. Jonak, no, that sleep dart didn't connect. He just shield. That'll be too much for me to take by this point, I think. All right, Nana boost here, Mono. Again, he's the man that's tasked to do the dirty work. The Undertaker is at work, getting stunned up, but he's okay. He has the durability now. He has the primal rage. Health pool for days. Oh, I don't think Sire player. Can he get away from that one? Hagapin is actually transcendenting over on the point, but Chris is down.
But look at what he gets with that nano boost primal rage. He occupies 4 players on the left-hand side of the point, and then you just force like a 4v2 on the point in favor of New York. An incredibly fast time for NYXL.
Oh, man. They are so far ahead. First push pretty much getting point A. 5 minutes and 23 seconds on the clock. That is rough. The Florida Mayhem have to somehow match that, but you have to think NYXL are going to be very hard to break on defense. I'm curious. Florida really have to MacGyver this one.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
You're powered up. Get in there. Огонь по готовности.
NYXL looking very strong in his series. Sire Play and the rest of the Florida Mayhem looking like the little engine that could in an alternate universe where realities were completely flipped and everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Oh.
That would be where they could. Right now it's looking super not good. 5 minutes 23 on the clock for New York after a blistering attack.
That was a great explanation. Did not look good. No, 5 minutes 23 seconds. It's a crazy time set by New York. We saw a little bit during the awesome kind of replay of some of the things during the commercial break, but Mono able to just get in that corner with the Primal Rage. He had like 4 players just knocked back in the spawn, just hanging out there. There was really nothing
It was
they
one
could
man
do, so.
spawn camping 4 people. I mean, Primal Rage and Nano Boost will do that to you.
So let's see if Florida can get something going here with the Sombra. We talked a little bit about a pregame. You know, maybe the Sombra can cause some problems for New York. It has in the past. Let's see if Florida can make something work with this, or if they decide to switch. You see the translocator set up here. Maybe going to go scout, see what's going on, and then decide what you want to run.
All right. Apparently, we're not going to the bowling alley today. Swan going to be switching over towards the Winston, originally on the Wrecking Ball here. Oh, no. Okay, interesting. No Sombra for BQB. I mean, this is very well behaved.
I mean, look, if this is something that Florida has worked on, which they want to get better on, you may as well try it against one of the best, right?
So Matt, are you telling me, even though they might lose playing 3-3 into a 3-3, they're going to do it anyway because they think that's the best way to play?
I mean, I think at this point, it's probably that they have practiced the most.
So you're saying they should just go triple DPS?
Well, actually, here on this map, I actually do think you can run some triple DPS on the offensive side. I think you can. You know, depends, like, there's not like a huge high ground advantage here for the defense, and you can get them, they're spread out. But I think if you're Florida and you don't have anything like that practiced or anything like that, we've never seen anything like that from them in the past.
So assuming they've just been working on their 3-3 mostly, makes most sense to play it here, right?
I mean, look, you need to have something you can fall back on as a team that will be generic and work against most competition. This is what it is.
Thank you for humoring me with that one.
What do you?
Mono pops his head in the car park and sees most of Florida sort of setting up. They're going to try and push through. Again, it's going to be the brute force approach here. Not a lot of subtlety to what Florida put together. And a warning bionic grenade fired off by Jonak.
You know, Florida's got this position, but they don't seem exactly sure on what to do with it yet.
Jonak's down.
Yeah, but have they gone so far to get Jonak that they're going to lose everybody else?
Transcendence here for Huggerpin. Let's see if it pays off, Matt. They invested deeply in order to get rid of Jonak. And I appreciate the respect. Swan knocking Liver off the edge, and there it is! Florida able to break through off the first pick on Jonak. Looks like it paid off, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, you lose, you know, the ability to get like the nano boost, which they've done a very nice job using, you know, the biotic grenade, so you take Jonak out first. It's a large source of their healing as well. Just wonder if he switches things up and goes over to Zen here as we move on to point B. Probably not right away. You have the nano boost here coming up, so you'll probably stay on it.
And look, you're playing Ryan into a Ryan comp now, so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're more willing to opt into the Ryan mirror here as we go to point B.
I mean, you feel better, especially when you have a nano boost that'll feed your Earth Shatter a bit quicker because you're going to be doing more damage, more durable. Mono would love to go head-to-head with Swan with Nano.
You need the shield for these chokes as well, the static shield of Reinhardt.
All right, Mono, first one to challenge. Florida not fancy it. They're trying to out-rotate NYXL Hill a little bit. Didn't quite work, and that's a sleep on Zephyr. Let's see if that comes back to hurt the Mayhem. Probably will. I don't know how these games go. Sire Play gets hit with a bio nade, and there it is, Chris. Blown to smithereens by the self-destruct, and Mono and Co will follow. By the way, Mono, yeah, he's up to 71% on that Earth Shadow.
And I thought they may have ended up like investing like a nano boost to Mono to get that shadow right away, but you don't even need it.
When you're swinging into a grab, right?
Yeah, with how good the grab is. Yeah, I mean,
or sleeping, should I say?
You're just gonna end up picking up tons of kills. So.
I mean, look, NYXL, they just craft a virtual player advantage by sleeping Zephyr. You can't eat the grab. As soon as he slept Zephyr, bam, you saw Nene fire that one off. So very quick on the uptake, these New York lads. 4:37 on the clock. BQB, don't get this one easy. I think is definitely what Florida are hoping. They need this grab to go off.
Pretty sure BQB hopes he doesn't get eaten as well.
Well, you heard Baby Bay as well.
Yeah.
He's like, my main goal is to not have my grabs eaten. So
Dude, it becomes a mind game though. You have one eaten, like you just become so nervous like about the next one that comes. Like
you're afraid of being that guy that just throws his grab into a defense matrix. I get that. Here's a sound barrier. Florida now. They've got to go. Mano, shield low. Earth Shatter. They connects with BQB. Can they get rid of the Zai before he has a chance to use Graviton? So again, Zeph for sleeping on the job. He's back in the fight. Oh, there it is. We foreshadowed him, Matt. And then it happened. BQB's Graviton Surge is eaten and they needed it so badly. I tell you what, you got to get up pretty early in the morning to pull one over Meko. Speaking of which, he bops Sire player, removes the Brigitte from the fight, and oh, this is...
I mean, they spend all of Oasis on that. At the point they end up losing the map on, building up the grab, and it gets eaten. And right there, you build it up, gets eaten. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Putting pressure on BQB on the ground. So where does he go? Does he like fly up and use it? So
Oh, he's turning. Oh, with like a little bit of defense matrix left, like a sliver of it.
That's what Fury was talking about, I believe, in one of the interviews that we had. Is that like he's been practicing, getting it down like right to the wire, like treading it. Because Diva's defense matrix, it, like there isn't like a huge like visual, and I think like with how crazy like the game gets sometimes, it's very difficult to determine whether they're using it or not. I think you bring it down to the wire like that, it makes it even tougher.
He flicks it to the right and then back to the left, so BQB can't see it, and he's probably not looking for the body of a Meko, just the actual outline, like you said.
And I think if you just keep playing so safe with the grab, like you're never going to end up in a position where you use it.
Earth Shatter connects with Meko here. No chance to grab, there is no grab for BQB, and Hargopin goes down. Jonak with a headshot, and this is going to get staggered out for a long time. This will get NYXL to a very comfortable place in terms of ults here. Self-destruct from Meko. Interesting. Maybe not necessary, but hey. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah, so you do have some ultimates though online here for the Mayhem coming in. You'll have Rally, you probably initiate the fight with Rally. So look at Mono, just trying to third person. So this will give him a great idea. So he can kind of use the Reinhardt shield to gain visuals around the corner. So you can see where potentially Florida's coming. So you have a good idea where to rotate here.
A couple heroes in the game that
Really
changed the camera position.
Oh!
Okay, just gets Hargopin there. Most of Florida had the shields and barriers that they needed. But the fact, look, okay, the fact that you're actually trying to do that in a game like this should say a heck of a lot about the headspace.
Oh, Florida though, like you gotta be a little shook. Like he just pops out of nowhere. Like.
See, we didn't want to see that. We didn't want to see that kind of carnage. We're off children's TV, Matt. I still don't want.
I don't want to see Florida go down like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, let's destroy Graviton Surge in there. It's going to be the Transcendence from Hargopin, but Swan will still not be able to keep it alive. And Florida, again, they just can't compete on the same level as New York without their main tank.
Oh, and I tell you what, I mean, the toughest part there is that they end up burning Transcendence because they think they'll keep Swan up, but he actually gets charged the complete opposite way, so you get nothing out of the Transcendence.
So not only is he charged out of the Transcendence, he's also hit with burst damage and could be healed up.
Right?
You see the Hargopin opted to, he stepped into the grab to try and keep Swan alive.
That's just the timing was just a little off there.
Well, you know what time it is, Matt. It's not Overwatch time, it's grab time.
I mean, you have another shatter here for Mono, already. Right now, I mean, you haven't really had a great opportunity for Swan. There's been no grab for him to swing into. But Swan getting the Earth Shatter every 2 minutes and 24 seconds. The Mono's a minute 24. So
it's not like New York are going to hold still and let Swan slap around the chops with a hammer. Okay, BQB's taking an off angle here, but that's been spotted. Florida trying to out-rotate. They're really trying to get a positional advantage. They just can't find one. That's the Earth Shatter. Swan was knocked down. Oh, sound barrier. Just in time to keep him alive, but no, not enough durability. Here's that Graviton Surge. Now, what does the self-destruct look like? Not much, because Swan died. He couldn't knock that shield down and prevent New York from blocking the self-destruct damage, so we're back to the drawing board, and Florida have 30 seconds left.
And it's a tough situation because like, if BQB just holds on to that grab there, like, when are you ever going to get a chance to use it? You have Swan did every single fight when you're trying to push in. You need to eventually use this ultimate. So now Florida, they have one last chance here to attack.
See Reinhardt get up on that ledge, which is pretty handy. 10 seconds, Matt, you called it. Let's see how it goes. Swan, there's a possibility of an Earth Shatter, but they could just get grabbed by Nene, and they could be in trouble. No Arnie here, so you can't blind a grenade inside the enemy grab to prevent that Transcendence, but let's see how it goes down. Here's the Transcendence, self-destruct, the setup, it was perfect. They get Swan, that was all they needed. And now Florida Mayhem will fall apart at the seams. Zephyr now as well, just gonna chill out by the statue, but I mean, it's with a grim realization, and they accept their fate. Being under the boot of the NYXL. That will be map number 2, New York. Just rack them up.
New York's offense was tremendous. Nothing you can argue with there. Florida had a good attack on point A. It's just once we got to point B, it was just all New York. You couldn't really get anything going with your ultimate to do the Mayhem.
As much as the Mayhem might want to hit the showers, they got a halftime break to discuss and come back for the last 2 maps.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
You're powered up. Get in there. Огонь по готовности.
No surprises here. The mighty NYXL are showing no mercy against the Mayhem in this one. They're up 2-0 over the Florida Mayhem at the break. Welcome back to halftime, everybody. Malik here with Bryn and Sideshow. Guys, you know the NYXL is a team where every position has a player that's all-star caliber. So it's really hard to stand out on this team. But for some reason, Mono seems to be rising above the pack in this game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, in fact, I think we both agree on this. In fact, we agree so much that we decided to dedicate this entire halftime to talking about Mano in particular as a player.
I think we just don't talk about him enough, honestly, because throughout the whole of 2018, he's been an incredibly consistent performer for this team, but all of it ends up being about Jonak or about these kind of players. But Mano is a very, very key player. He is Mr. Consistent. He's so good. He's been performing at this kind of level all throughout 2018, now all throughout 2019. He is, in my opinion, the best main tank that we have in the league. Because other people, sure, they're great at certain things. Gesture, amazing at Winston. Bumper's fantastic at Ryan as well. But Mano does everything. He doesn't make mistakes. He makes the clutch plays. He's always in the right place. He's got incredible mechanics. He can play every hero.
Yeah.
This guy's amazing.
I definitely think you can make an argument for that, but I also think that it's a little bit too early to be making sort of these statements.
Too early? We've seen this guy play since 2017. He's been fantastic since then.
Are you getting ready to say MVP?
So here's the point I'm trying to make now.
Okay.
We've got some new additions coming up and some new up-and-comers also. Right now, there are three main tanks right now at the top. You got Super, you got Bump, and you got Mano, who you're very big on at the moment. I would make an argument that, I mean, what are you basing this off of? The fact that Mano is just the consistent, he just slots nicely into NYXL.
Absolutely.
He's got a consistent record. Bumper hasn't dropped a game yet, including playoffs.
True.
Bumper won Stage 1 playoffs.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Bumper is currently, in my eyes, if you're looking at that off his record alone, the #1 main tank.
He is truly mental, Bumper, though. Bumper makes mistakes. Mano never makes mistakes, man. Look at this as well. Just unbelievably good statistics.
Yeah.
Second in
stats.
fewest stats. Fewest stats.
He's not
Where's
bad.
Bumper on that? stat.
Okay, probably a 20. Probably a 20. I'm not gonna lie. But you want to know a little something else, Josh? Honestly, first Olymp percentage, Bumper is currently holding that one at #1. A lot of the statistics between Bumper and Mano, they're actually alternating between first and second, which means it's a difficult argument right now.
Absolutely.
I think to be making, and especially again, you've just come off the back of watching them absolutely destroy Florida.
Okay,
it's an easy argument to make, right?
I got a question. I want to interject here. Who requires more support at the end of the day?
Definitely,
Bumper?
100% Bumper.
Definitely Bumper, but the amazing thing about that is that they play around him because like he's such an incredible player that if they give him that support, they know he'll go wild.
Second point I want to make as well for you jumping to conclusions saying he's the best main tank. I would say right now you've got the 3 big dogs. You got Super, you got Bumper, you got Mano, but you've got 2 as well that are just trailing behind slightly, maybe even 3, honestly. You've got Fisher, you've got Gesture as well that are trailing behind in terms of their individual abilities. And then you've also got OG who put up an amazing performance.
OG might start to be up there, actually.
So,
yeah.
you've got a lot of very talented main tanks in the league right now. It's a difficult argument to make, honestly, that you can decide right now. I mean,
watch the second half. Watch the second half and see how Mano does.
Speaking of second half, let's talk a little bit about that. We got Kings Row coming up next. Is this the map that Florida Mayhem gets a little bit of momentum on? Is it a possibility? What do they need to do? Throw us a bone here.
It's literally New York Excelsior. They're currently 10-0 versus the 1-19.
It's too good.
You know, it is very one-sided right now.
Yes.
And as counterpoint as well, I will add, I just want to put a bit of empathy into this as well.
Yes.
Because Florida Mayhem are a team that they know they're going to be making decisions and changes coming forward.
Right.
This roster is going through some turbulence right now. Can you play up to your potential when you know that? I think it's very difficult to. I think you need to have some incredible mental fortitude to be able to perform at your highest level.
It's also the most important time to play as well as you can, because if you know the team's about to make changes, you want to put yourself in the best foot forward and make sure that you're not the one that ends up getting replaced when they bring in these extra players.
All right, well, guys, it's a tall order, but the Florida Mayhem, they still do have a half to get back into this game. Can they pull it off? We're going to find out. We got Kings Row coming up next, right after the break.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
As many of you may have expected, coming into this match, it's a 2-0 lead for the NYXL at halftime. The Mayhem have really not been given too many opportunities to excel, but maybe haven't created that many either, Matt.
I'm not surprised by the scoreline by any stretch of the imagination, but I am a little bit. I thought Florida would come in and play a bit better today, to be honest. You know, with the way they played, it looks like they were like making just steady improvements, you know, game by game. Like they weren't winning them, but at least like you saw them, you know, taking these maps to the distance, you know, very close games. Obviously, New York's a different beast with teams in the league, right?
I can see that. I just saw that on screen. That's filthy, BQB. Yeah. Kings Row is going to be our next map. And you'll know what I'm talking about in just a second. Yeah, I actually thought
it would be close.
Florida looked decent on that A attack on Paris, but ooh, they got ground down to nerdy bread after that point. And the reason why I was exclaiming is that BQB was on the Bastion, which is actually not that surprising by now. And they can kind of get this little crossfire set up, Matt, with BQB one threat, Sire player the other. NYXL, let's see what they do to break this. Let's see how far they have to extend their hand into the bag of tricks.
I mean, usually what you see teams do here is that they'll try and take the point, go underneath the Bastion, prevent the Bastion from getting like line of sight, forcing somebody to come down, whether it be Zephyr or something. Mono's gonna go back to this one.
Oh, hey, it gets crazy. They got a Bastion? Wow.
So they go with the Winston here, probably more mobility to get to the high ground. Contest Saya player is okay, so the bio grenade comes out, so at least they know that that cooldown's gone. As Hagapun throws that in towards the hotel.
Then not aware of a Widowmaker right now. I don't know if Neil was there, but Sire player's well and truly giving himself away now. Looking for Jonak, but Sire player very quickly accosted there by Nene. One tick already. Florida Mayhem need to commit to fight at this point, but maybe that's what NYXL want. BQB's out to deal with Mano though, which is a good start. And the shield is being kept strong by Swan thus far. Body grenade hits 4, man, but they had an invincibility matrix, so invincibility field will keep them well and truly alive.
Yeah, you do have Nene though, who goes on a flank here as he like went around to the stairs, boosts himself up, and there's a chance that they just break this over time.
Again, just trying to work in from the outside, Matt, and you're right. The second wave comes in. Florida only really able to withstand the first. Then they was probably trying to body block, make sure Hagapun couldn't get to the point. And that was pretty cut and dry.
I mean, usually you see, like, if they're running the Bastion on defense, like, you'll play underneath the point and then force the Bastion down. That time, the way they actually got him down was they, like, rotated up to the high ground NYXL, and then Florida opted to not play on the high ground and just drop down. I think they got a little bit scared that New York was just going to barrel up on the high ground, but you had, you know, a lot of sustain there up on the high ground. You had the immortality field. I mean, why run away?
Because they were scared. Because New York was bullying them, Matt.
Okay.
Jonak, oh, there's a sleep on a Zephyr once more. Again, Nene could have gone for the grab there if he wanted to, but it might be enough that New York just try and ride the wave from that biotic grenade that's set up. Mano kind of knocked out of the way. He really would have wanted to be in the thick of things now with this nano boost. He's going to do it anyway. He's going to seek to remediate his distance from the Mayhem by charging on in, and they get Sire player. Zephyr locked in a deadly battle. An epic struggle with Meko on the point. Inside his mech now, out of it, and now removed.
You know, they do not. Oh,
Vicky's sleeping. Oh.
Loses all that Zarya charge, but the payload's still rolling here for New York. You didn't have to use your grab, you didn't have to use the shatter there, you just invested the nano boost right after the nano boost came out from Hagapun on the Swan. Big sleep dart there that kicked things off from Jonak on the Zephyr. No Diva defense matrix to keep that biotic running. Maybe another touch here for Florida. No, looks like they're back now. They're gonna get
no, they don't fancy it. Oh dear.
Yeah, but you're looking at like a close to like you know, record pace here for New York. I mean, 5 minutes to go. They're already going on the point.
Last couple of weeks we've had a lot of top table teams versus bottom table teams, and you know, accordingly we've seen a lot of these records being set. Zaya player down first, and that self-destruct was completely unnecessary, entirely superfluous addition to what was a very one-sided fight.
I think you see a lot of these records, you know, being broken on maps like this because, you know, when you have a team that's very strong in terms of the 3-3, it snowballs really quick.
And it has.
And this one's kind of gotten out of control. A lot of ults available for Florida, though. If there's any fight they should win, it should be this one.
Here we go. Rally now from Sire play. They have all the ultimates. There is no reason for them not to be able to put up the pocket resistance! It's a 3-man ice shatter and Swan goes down. He's able to get his shatter off, but spoilers, he doesn't hit anyone at all. Libero, after Sire player, gets the whip shot. Nene does go down. Does have self-destruct here. This might actually be enough. Yeah, I don't really know if New York want to keep fighting this, but getting Chris might be enough to push them forward. Mano needs a bit of healing. Again, without Nene here, just for that extra damage, it might be a bit more grindy, but they're going to go for it, because why not? Full of confidence, and Sire player, I'm pretty sure he just got whip shot over the edge, man.
So he switches off onto the Wrecking Ball here. Sound barrier that comes in from Chris, so trying to keep everybody on Florida topped up. So you see how low Mono is right now.
Nene's back, though. He has returned to the fray with the rest of his team, and the NYXL don't really seem to be in too much of a hurry to stop fighting. Just, oh, okay, Swan gets hit with that one. Mono doesn't have an Earth Shatter, so it wasn't like he was going to line it up. Sire player didn't get shield bash, Spider Grenade thrown in. Hagafin having to go for a Nano Boost here, but Mono gets one himself, and Swan goes down, completely burst by Meko and Co. And an Earth Shatter is impending. So is Doom for the Florida Mayhem. Graviton Surge attempted, BQB knocked to the ground. Libro did fall with the Graviton Surge, but Jonah cleaned up and finished off what Mano started. No one's on the payload right now. I guess NYXL just want to chase these kills. Fair enough. Nice and quick for the NYXL. Some resistance there from Florida, but Matt, not much.
I mean, look, Florida, they kind of hold on there at the end for about 2 minutes before New York could, get it in, but still not a great defense in Florida. We'll see if their offense is better.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
The NYXL are looking to, finish off week 2 early and head out and buy some new sneakers or something similar. Very quick through King's Row on the attacking side. Not record-breaking, but, just very solid. The kind of lead that is pretty much unassailable at this point.
I mean, look, they finished them out with 3 minutes and 17 seconds in the time bank. It's a lot, but from where it was at when they got point B to unlock point C, it did get a hold there.
They did lose their Zaya and keep fighting with 5 against 6. So, okay, so this is what happened with that Earth Shatter setup. Sire player,
later,
yeah. Hole in one, that one.
Oh, what? No way. So, Swan's had himself a rough series. The halftime talked about how great Mono is and how great he's been in this one. Swan in the first half, 0 limbs, 0 final blows, 5 deaths.
Behind every great main tank performance is their opponent getting bodied.
But I think though, like how much can you do as the main tank if you're not getting the support, or your support's dying, or you're not really getting set up in any type of way? It's kind of difficult.
All right, Swan's trying to get himself set up in the back line, but where do you go? I mean, he's going to head right out the back here. It seems NYXL are kind of happy to let him go.
So this is what we didn't see from them on Paris. On Paris side, they opted to move into the 3-3 mirror. This time they're going to go with a more damage dealer approach here, Florida on the offensive end.
Zephyr trying to rule the skies here. Needs to watch out for Jonak, of course. That's about it, really. All he can really bother him. Meko will obviously try and pester him a little bit, but while he's being pocketed, it's tough for the Diva to do anything against him solo. And a very much high ground Zarya performance from Nene here.
I mean, Zephyr's just trying to put down some damage, right? I know usually the Diva player for this flex support player.
Oh no! Sire players put to sleep. Zephyr just looks at him, he's like, you're on your own, bro. I can't help you. There it is. Oh, Nene gets the finish.
And that's a biotic grenade that comes cross map there from Jonak that lands on Sire player, and then Nene up on the high ground just wraps her out, finishes them off.
He wasn't exactly a moving target though, was he, Matt?
But it's still like, with the angle that like a biotic grenade comes out of, it's kind of like hard to actually get it over the lip there without overshooting it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to aim much higher, right?
Yeah.
Right, so not much progress here early for Florida. Definitely waiting on Zephyr to rejoin them.
My ultimate is charging.
Again, Saya still looking for a pick. Dragon Strike will be able to force positioning from Florida, so there will be an opportunity.
They know EMP's on the board. They're just trying to go solo EMP.
I mean, Mano and Meko do get hit by that one, but follow-up, here's a Dragon Strike. So this will force NYXL to reposition outside of the hotel. It does split them to sort of in 2 and 4, but Libero and Jonak just come back and rejoin the team. So no one really capitalizing on the Dragon Strike displacement. And now, this might get ugly. Nene has himself a Graviton Surge. He just throws that one straight on in. Getting Saya player first seems to be his priority. Swan following soon after.
I think with the composition that Florida's running, I think that's a good grab. Like, you can't get greedy with some of these grabs because, you know, they're all spread out. Spawn camp coming on through here.
You get one, or almost like you get 2 is more value than you expect here. But we saw this a ton at the end of stage 1. Like teams, especially in the Shock versus Titans game, just grabbing single targets, getting rid of enemies' eyes and such.
So now the big changes come in here from Florida, so they're going to go into the mirror. It didn't work getting cute with the damage dealers. But now they put themselves, you know, behind the 8 ball. They don't have a lot of ultimate. They don't have any ultimates really to work with right now. It's going to take a while for them to charge them up too. I mean, New York comes in, steamrolls this fight. You're looking at like, you know, 40 seconds on the clock, 30 seconds on the clock, no ultimates to work with here.
I mean, Florida want this one to be over as quick as possible. They don't want to give too much ult percent over to NYXL. They want to get some of their own. There goes Air Shatter attempt from Mana there. Looks like Swan almost got caught by that one, but then just got shield bashed after it. So Florida have a chance to regroup here. Zephyr sleeping again, by the way.
I mean, this just eats time off the clock. New York, they know they have the ultimate advantage. They're totally fine with the clock just being drawn out here.
Swan has to go huge here, man. He really needs to make the difference, but he can't push up the point. It's more important for Florida to capture it right now. And so they just sit inside to grab. Nothing they can do. There's the charge to set up the self-destruct. And Swan couldn't do anything. He was trying to hold his shield up, Matt.
I mean, New York is so smart. They know the win condition. The nano boost comes in. They don't decide to fight them on the point. Like, that would just be insanely dumb. So what they decide to do is just give up some percentage. They don't even get the second tick. Back away, wait till you use your ultimates, then push on through.
They have broken this whole map down into fights and their associated win conditions, right? And then just playing to those. Now they have a nano boost for Mano. We might be able to get himself a shadow. Maybe they give it to Nene if he's charged up.
They've been giving it to Nene most of the maps. Nene is asleep right now, though, so we'll be getting it.
Mano, charge forward. Neutral. Oh, I see. Nano boost actually went on towards Nene there. I wonder if it was intended for Mano to keep him alive and the sensitivity was maybe not high enough.
And this is like the 3rd time they've done this, the map. They've consistently been nano boosting Nene on this map.
Nene gets caught in the grab there. Can't do too much. Savera coming out a little bit too late. Mano, not quite back yet. He'll be charging down the street to try and reach the rest of his team, but he can't get there in time. The Mayhem will look for a bit of a stagger here and try and take some extra ground, but NYXL look like they're home and hosed here.
Yeah, they're gonna have to back all the way up here. Florida just charging forward, just trying to create space here. So they can move the payload down a little bit. And Mano decides to shatter here, connects to the fuse.
This is gonna be nasty. They're gonna get BQB here easily and they're gonna push back now. Shoes on the other foot.
Yeah, I mean, usually you wouldn't expect a team without their Diva or their Zarya to invest ultimates in that type of situation. That's why you see teams push up.
But
so
here's the end result. So New York actually get to play this choke again.
Which is what they wanted, I mean, ideally, right?
Let's see how this went down. Jonak just behind Mano. Oh, the sleep dart.
Right, I mean, it's at the perfect time.
Filthy, absolutely filthy. Rally now being used by NYXL. They want to plant their feet here. They want to stand their ground. Earth Shadow from Swan fighting all of absolutely nothing, and Mano takes him down pretty much straight away. NYXL playing close together around those shields, and there just wasn't an opening.
Man, that one fight where they tried to push up, which is the right play from Florida. They tried to push up. They try and push New York back to the spawn. The Sleep Dart Shatter combination has really opened this thing up in New York's favor on the defensive end. Florida, if they pick up that kill, they start to move the payload all the way down the stream space. Like, they're probably close to taking point B. Just the sequence of those plays turns it to where now they're getting spawn camp.
This is cheeky. Back cap. NYXL, you notice they're watching the bar in the middle of the screen the
Draw
entire
back.
time.
So smart.
They knew that was going to happen. But it does break their little spawn camp there. So clever from Chris to sneak through the web of surveillance. get onto the payload at least. Otherwise, it could have been really nasty for Florida. As it stands, Matt, they've got 40 seconds left, so it's not a lot to work with. Zephyr and Swan both knocked down, Money getting 2 for the Earth Shatter, and somehow being kept alive, inextricably still standing. Swan finally getting the better of him thanks to the sound barrier of Chris and the rally of Sire player. A lot of investment from Florida on the support ultimate side, but they have allowed themselves an extension.
I mean, 20 seconds left, though, with the way the card is moving, with one player on it. Right now, New York will have one more fight to potentially stop any payload progress, win the map. As they will have sound barrier, nano boost, rally. I mean, they're set up in a great spot.
Well, it's a tale of 2 grabs here, Matt. Which one gets eaten? Do both get off? Is there going to be support ultimates to back them up? There's no transcendence for New York, remember that. So it'll have to be Libero's rally, and that'll have to be enough. Zephyr's put to sleep, so of course you go for the grab. Oh, there was no way that was going to be stopped. Although the setup for the self-destruct kill wasn't quite there. Sound barrier later in the fight here for NYX. And Mano's taken down by the self-destruct. Might be a chance here for Florida to push on. Arno's forced to back away. He gets given a bubble by Nene, but a lot of New York's ultimates have been expended here. Some stall effect here from Meko. Nene needs to be careful. He's out in the open a little bit too far, and now getting bared down upon by Sire player with rally, but he is charged up. That is a plus for him, and his teammates are slowly returning to the fray. NYXL keeping it stalled out. Florida have to pick a target and go for it.
They're trying to get all the way into Nene in the back, but doing a fantastic job staying alive, and they have Mano back in the fight, and you just have Swan spawning up. He's on Wrecking Ball coming all the way back.
He's about to arrive here, but will it be too late? NYXL just trying to heal up and hold on for the time being, but Mano gets bowled over, and there it is. Florida able to get that second checkpoint despite being grabbed here. It's okay if they all die. They have an extension of time, and their spawn's been moved up.
They finally, were able to get over the line here. Some kills going in favor of New York, all charged up here at the end. But Florida did a much better job towards the second half. They're of point B when they actually started making progress. They were doing a nice job of isolating Mono. They got the first kill instead of Swan being the one that drops first in those fights. It was Mono consistently. You see how much tougher it is for your team when the main tank drops first.
They've been focusing in map. Mono has 5 deaths on this map.
Yeah.
The rest of New York has a maximum of 2 individually. Gotta be Mano to go down first, or Florida could be in trouble. There's the sound barrier. Earth Shatter comes in. Mano doesn't find anything this time, and now BQB lets rip with the Graviton Surge. Self-destruct being thrown through, knocking Sire player out of the way, and they get Chris as well. That's so much added value there. For an ultimate that gets thrown into a fight with minimal setup, there wasn't even a Graviton Surge used. And there it is. Transcendence from Jonak allows New York to start to push up a little bit more. They play aggressively, they win the fight convincingly, and they have a Graviton saved for the next one, and it will be the last one.
And they get a D-back on the Zephyr there as he's gonna... Oh, he ends up getting taken out here by Anamos. Not even an opportunity to go back to the spawn, swap off, then swap to something else. You'll have to wait for him to come back off the respawn. As Huggabun switches to Moira here, so just trying to get some extra heals in the end.
Chris knows he has to play separate from his team. They're going to get grabbed. He needs to go to the payload to try and trigger overtime, and he got killed. Before he could get there, Jonak just blasted him. Oh dear. There it is, NYXL take their 3rd map of the series, and they will, of course, lock things up at the end of the day. It was pretty comfortable for them. There is another map here in this series, a chance for Florida to continue to test themselves against this gargantuan foe. That map's going to be on the side of this break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Into the iris.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what has been a rather short-lived series, and that is definitely off the back of New York just looking dominant, and they're not letting up. They're not taking their foot off the gas, and Florida are struggling to keep their head above water.
Yeah, it's been a really fast series this far. Florida looked much better there on Kings Row than they did in our first two maps. The first two were really favored in NYXL's favor, but I think game 4 here, the series is decided in New York's side, so we'll see what Florida can do on Junkertown, try and get a map win.
That's right. I mean, a map where those erroneous results, listen, Grant, erroneous results can actually happen, where we've seen teams sort of take maps away. Here's a fun fact for you, by the way. The only player to ever have gotten a 6.0 kill-death ratio is Prophet. But 2 NYXL players are currently in the hunt for that one right now tonight. So that could be broken here or even exceeded.
Which kind of explains to you how dominant NYXL has been in the series as a whole. As you have Junkertown defense here set up for the Florida Mayhem. They'll roll things out with the double sniper on D, triple tank.
NYXL out of the gates here. Early immortality field just to make sure no one just gets randomly headshot by Sire player. So there you go. I spoiled Captain Planet's stat there. But Mecha and Nene are in the hunt there. So it's greater than 10, not 6. So there you go. If I spoil Captain Planet, it's karma. I get it wrong. That is 10 though? That is
14.
A lot. Right, but that needs to be intact at the end of the map. So if he gets slapped around a bunch, then it won't look nearly as good. But
it's Mecha, so
yeah.
All right, so they see what is on the other side. They decide to switch things up. They go over with the Winston version of the 3-3. So Libero. So he'll play Genji, so you're going to have a triple tank with a Genji here on offense for NYXL. Interesting setup. Genji's a hero who's really kind of like fallen way down because how Brig is used in the meta. We don't see Genji really used at all.
Mano dropping in and dropping out. Looking for an opportunity. And again, a bit of displacement when he lands in the midst of the Florida Mayhem works. They're definitely looking for this man on your screen. Sire player. It's Wabbit season. They're looking for his Widow. Genji's coming for you. Libero, oh, that was clean. Melee finish, however, Nene and Jonak go down in the meantime, so NYXL give up a heck of a lot to get so deep into the backline of Florida. I don't know if it was worth it.
Yeah, a lot of emphasis trying to get Sire player out in the back, playing the Widowmaker, and when that happens, you end up losing a bunch of players to the Roadhog on the point, so... See New York, give it a go again. They do know that Chris Solo is supporting on the other side, so it does have Valkyrie right now. Keep everybody topped up. Also keep himself out of harm's way.
That is a long hook. Good bubble though. Mano kept alive by that one, but however, Storm Arrows. Oh dear, a lot of damage there. BQB and okay, I saw that. Headshot on BQB, on Libero, should I say, as he came across. That's tough stuff.
I think if you're a Florida fan, it has to be fun to really see that you have like DPS players, the damage dealer role, who can contend with the, some of the better players in the league, some of the best in the league. I think that is definitely like if you're looking at something to be positive about from the Florida Mayhem's POV, like Sire player and BQB is a pretty sick combo. Like I think if you probably get one more player in that rotation, I think Sire player is really strong on the hit scan. I think if you get one more player who can play a lot of the other different heroes as well, like really sick Bara player, I would say.
Instead of Sire player sort of doing a lot of that. I mean BQB, we've seen him go for that one before. Dragon Blade by Libero though, BQB doesn't last very long. Split in two, but the shot comes in from Sire player and the finish on the attacking Genji. However, there's nothing left of the Florida Mayhem here. NYXL go aggressive. They knew they were going to lose a couple players, and they're fine with it. That was a Dragon Strike from Spawn, pair of BQB, who's now switching over.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of throw that one out there. So the switch comes through, but so the New York taking the first point. Usually you see much different compositions on Junkertown, then turn it like 3-3. It's kind of odd in the now. Also, NYXL's played a ton of Ana so far this series. Don't know if it's kind of funny because what happened to them towards the end of season 1 is that the meta shifted and it kind of went away from Zen at times, where they consistently played Zenyatta all the time. Really kind of their downfall.
Well, which is interesting given that Jonak was known for being a great Ana player as well. It was just the style they preferred to play around.
His Den just does so much damage, and I think their playstyle last year was really catered around Jonak on that hero. So I think like the changes towards the end when Brig came through, it was like they didn't really know how to kind of adjust.
I mean, Jonak's role, from Zenyatta being like a consistent sort of extra DPS player to Ana is a bit different. I mean, you're not going to put out as much damage, and if you are, that means you're not healing your teammates. So a different role, a facilitator, someone looking for openings and often creating.
But I think this year you have Nene on the roster, which like they've dedicated more resources to Nene this year than they did to any of their DPS players at all of last year.
Yeah, they really brought him into the fold. Straight off the back, we saw him on Azaya, and then we've seen his Tracer as well. It's been great. Saya player getting rolled over the top there, and Florida Mayhem getting caught mid-rotation. Half of their team was dropped down on the low ground, and the rest of the 4 were on the high ground, and Mano was more than happy to bring his Primal Rage to that party. Or he may have pooped it, but that's fine.
Yeah, he picks up some kills with the Primal Rage. Let's go back to the spawn. Okay, so Orisa. So have the Orisa main tank. This is interesting. They 3-3 with Orisa as the main tank.
It's interesting.
Orisa's pretty good here at this part of the map, though, with just the shield up time. And you'll be able to burn Swan down pretty quick. If you think you can take advantage of Swan being a little bit out of position, Orisa with the halt's pretty good hero to use.
Swan finds Libero early here. There's not really a whole lot, though, that Mana can do peel-wise.
Yeah.
It's just the Hulk that can pull people out of position. Outside of that, he kind of just hopes he can stand in front of the players that he's trying to protect and use his Fortify, but yeah, if you have a team that's going to push past that Orisa barrier, it's not going to work.
I mean, the Orisa could also walk out of the Graviton Surge if you would have saw it happen with the Fortify, but Mano switches over, goes to Reinhardt. Maybe he's just trying to play every main tank on this point. Remember, like, World Cup Flower just wanted to play every single
He almost did too. Crazy. Haven't seen him today. He's just taking a break. One game really takes it out of you, fair enough. Oh dear, that's brutal. Now we're inside that bubble the entire time, and there's nothing that Sire player or Swan could do. Mano makes a statement as soon as he comes out on the right.
Yeah, now you'll have, but for Florida, you want to probably switch off of what you were running anyway. So they'll actually have Swan switch over, and he'll play Reinhardt now in the exact mirror version of this. BQB does have the grab. You're going to be throwing it right into the Transcendence. For Florida, though, you do have like you have your self-destruct, and then you also have your own Transcendence. So if you kind of get the grab self-destruct down, it doesn't exactly work. You could trance off the back of that because you'll have just so much more sustain after the Transcendence of New York wears off.
I mean, that's a fight where, if you have that Transcendence, your Zai is 100 charge, and you have that extra durability. That's when you can play really aggressively. Zai play down first, another first pick, forcing the Transcendence. No surprises there, but the shatter is big. It's 3. Swan, BQB, Chris all knocked to the ground, and BQB would have loved to either have himself or a teammate follow up on the grab, but it wasn't there. Still, the sound barrier helps it, though. They turn it up another gear, Matt.
It's like the Florida will win this fight, but they definitely could have made it a little bit easier on themselves, as New York have to back up here. You would have loved to potentially hold on to that sound barrier, let's say, right? Or one of those ultimates, getting like a big bang combo with the self-destruct and the grab, but you lose side player first, and there's nothing you could really do. You have to just start using all these ultimates. If you're in a position against New York, you don't use them, you won't have a chance considering where the payload is.
The upside is, Matt, the BQB doesn't die there. So, he comes back into the fight, he gets his charge back up, and he's playing the high ground. Now sort of being pressured, though. You see what the NYXL have done? They force Florida back to force their high ground players to drop down for fear of being separated, from the rest of their team and picked off. And they've been able to push so far off the back of that. I mean, to the rescue comes Zephyr and Sire player. They attempt to slow things up on the payload, but they're 2v4 at that stage. Those aren't good odds for anyone.
And usually you don't see as fast at times on Junkertown, some of the other maps, but pretty good offense there. And considering you got stalled out a little bit from New York, the 34 seconds in the time bank there to wrap things off. So Florida actually did put up a pretty good fight towards the end. First point and last point was Florida's best defense. Stage 2 we saw 0 defense. But interesting that you don't see anything kind of come out with the Bastion on offense. It's been such a strong strategy with the Batiste. So we'll see maybe Florida run something like that on offense.
It makes you wonder how New York have approached this stage in general, right? We saw the schedule, and there probably aren't too many games in which their opponents will be fundamentally equal or even superior to them in sort of any way. So
you're really only worried about that Philly game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just a game that can sort of catch you off guard. I mean, Philly have done it twice to New York now, knocking them out of huge games. It was the stage playoffs, and then of course the season playoffs, which is just a nightmare for New York fans. You don't want that being brought up anymore, I understand. But in this kind of stage, they have so much time to watch other teams, to work on their own style, develop some of their own strategies, which in a game like this, they probably just don't need to show.
I mean, that is a very good point. Like, if you're New York, there's no benefit in showing if you've been working on some interesting kind of bunker setups or anything like that in the background, because you can get wins just playing, you know, with pretty much the standard, right? So potentially just trying to hide some strats in the bank for potentially the playoffs.
So maybe they're not trying to teach Florida anything here, and they're saying, look, you can match us on our 3-3, then we'll talk.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a real thing. So Florida on offense, they will try and run a bunker setup. And
Zephyr's asleep, by the way.
New York, they'll take real estate up on the cart. So Florida can't exactly like go in there and dive down. BQB on the Symmetra trying to get them across though.
Okay, that's interesting. So they rotate to a high ground now, and they turn New York. They put them in a position like New York are kind of the attackers, right?
But the Bastion doesn't go with everybody else, so...
Is it because he can't? Is it because I think he's been kept here by Jonak and Co. He eventually gets across. Some time's been lost, but Meko's going to eat up a little bit of that Hugger damage.
But New York doesn't have to come out of this position.
And who gets on the cart for Florida? I mean, that was very... I like that from Mano, just ducking under the stairs. Then he's going to get burnt down.
Yeah.
You do need to deal with this Bastion. You cannot ignore it. I like it. I like the Symmetra teleporting it around. I'm here for this.
So I think, obviously, you know, Bastion's weakness is his mobility. You throw the teleporters down, he becomes very mobile at that point. So I see now he'll set up on the cart. So Hagopun getting in position here. Interesting, you have Hagopun playing the Bastion and Sniper and Chris be the support duo.
Oh, normally you might think it would be like BQB, sort of playing the Bastion or something like that. But yeah, Hagopun made a request.
And then, I mean, you also have, like, if they try and dive it, you have BQB on the Junkrat, right? Just putting down Unreal damage.
They're playing like two supports here, so I assume that Hagopun will be able to switch to the Zen. Sire player will play Brig if they play a 3-3, so that's why they leave him on that one to start with. Okay, here's the amplification matrix, but it's a little bit too low down for Hugger.
Yeah, no,
Hugger doesn't get
you really do, right? I mean, yeah, he's set up on this. He's actually in a really nice spot. Just the amplification matrix is in a spot where it doesn't really help him.
Oh my god, this is like a war of attrition. New York are just trying to see, they're trying to challenge themselves, right? It's like, this is like Overwatch Nuzlocke mode. They're trying to see if they can you know, handle this kind of comp without switching it. You can't, you really can't. Looks like the Matrix got placed up a little bit higher this time. Oh, it was the supercharger there. And somehow they just run over the top of Hagopun. Where the rest of Florida Mayhem are, well, they're kind of set up around Swamp. Swamp play on the low ground now. They're going to get broken down here. Florida have to switch, and Matt, they look like they were going to win that fight just on the fact that Hagopun was mowing them down.
Yeah, I think you know, if you were able to maybe get that amplification matrix on top of that car where they were doing it, I mean, that you would have definitely seen Florida be able to steamroll. So.
Look, I like that. New York broke the line of sight. They hid behind the water tower and the assorted sort of caches around the map.
I think you only play Junkrat here to get used to the tire. Anything you swap off, so I think it's just a matter of what BQB plays after this.
You can get Animo Jonak. You can get anyone. You can get Libero.
A kill in general is fine. Just anything.
All right, well, here it is. Not the most subtle placement here, but he spots an NA. No, don't go for him. He'll shield himself. The Diva, well, okay, fair enough. Meko desuited, but guess what? Self-destruct, and he just climbs back into his mech. The paint job looks like new, and he's ready to go once more. I guess his insurance premium goes up a bit, but that's it. This better be big. Oh, Jordan knew he was just sat there. He knew he was gone. Swan drops in there with the pile driver, Libero, and then a hit by that one Earth Shatter attempt here, and Sire plays one, and BQB. Somehow, the needle is threaded by Mano between you know, the VW Golf and that little wall there. Nicely done. Hagopun. A whip shot over the edge, and NYXL once again spurring into action. Chris over the top here on the Lucio. This is not looking good at all.
As BQB switches over to Zarya here towards the end. The pin will come out. Nice repair pack there. They'll keep Mano up as Swan gets knocked off the side. He won't be able to come back. And now you're really looking at, they're just Zephyr who potentially gets a touch here with Chris.
I would say it's a comedy of errors, Matt, but the NYXL haven't really given the Mayhem a chance to sort of show their decision-making prowess here. Just on a basic level, like I said, they're looking better right now. Nano boost for Nene here. We are in overtime, by the way. As the Graviton surge on Hagopun and Chris. Good value if he can catch him. Nene's woken up! What? Who woke him up? Why? Okay, well, he gets Hagopun now. Sire player off towards the side, though. Might have been Sire actually trying to finish him off with a couple headshots. Fair enough. Gets his second one. Trying to chase Meko down, desuited, and there it is. The Florida Mayhem starting to get themselves back in this one. The payload is going to get there, and they will get to play more Overwatch today.
That got scary. I think it may have been BQB who actually woke up Nene as he was in the crowd here. We'll take a look Zaya plays POV. It's really what he's known for is Widowmaker play. Nice.
Yeah, it looks like he actually fired at Nene at the moment he got sleep darted. You barely even saw Nene lay down from his perspective, so honest mistake.
So we're going to go Ryan 3-3 versus Ryan 3-3. The only difference here will be Jonak playing Ana as you got Hugapun play the Zenyatta for the Mayhem on offense.
From the high ground, Jonak hoping to do work here. More sleep darts on Zephyr to let Nene get free grabs. Might be on the menu. Okay, that's a two-man body grenade. Look at the follow-up there. Mano is right there. Tries to go for an Earth Shatter. That one fizzled. Swan punishes him there. Fire Strike to finish off that kill. Hugapin's going hunting. Libero unaware that he has a pursuer. Gets caught right in the heel.
They nano boost Nene again as Jonak was up on the high ground. He drops as they do get BQB low. They have to heal him up here. He will have grab self-destruct. I wonder if New York tries to fight this here. Good progress has been made by the Mayhem here through point B.
So those that are home probably, obviously you can't see this, but New York aren't joking around. Looking at their faces, they are very serious. The comms are coming through very, very clear and very fast. And no one's really giggling, laughing, or messing around here. NYXL, no games being played. A couple of decisions that maybe they wouldn't normally go for, but generally speaking, it looks like they're keeping themselves focused.
Yeah, it looked like both sides ended up investing their Graviton surges during that. So just a grab for grab in terms of the Zarya play. So Swan builds up his Earth Shatter in this fight. So you'll have two support ults for Florida coming on in. See how New York decides to play this. New York now switches over and they'll play the Zenyatta. So you want to match the damage of the enemy's end.
Double rally. Chris knocked off, but he can get back up. So can Meko. Also, Earth Shatter on high ground. That's a bit new. I like that one. Swan goes for it. Jonah got shattered. Mono tries to charge forward here. Sound barrier, extra shield, pushing him up. Man, player disadvantage, should I say, for the NYXL. And yet still, they try and go for a fight. Now they realize they have to back up as Mono's shield just gets cracked.
Yeah, they may have been able to make something out of that self-destruct. When Meko throws, if he throws up a little bit sooner, you actually had Mono and Swan just charge each other at the same time. They both knocked each other down. It's just self-destruct happens when Swan's able to stand up, block it.
NYXL now need to tighten the belt, get back to work. Florida very close here to finish the map with even more time in the bank than New York, but a lot hinges on this fight. A fight that includes two Gravitons and likely a Transcendence from Jonah. There it is, Graviton comes out first with the NYXL and Florida. Seems to not really respond with too much yet. BQB charged out of that one. That Graviton, by the way, now it's been taken off the table. BQB looked like he was saving it. He's had that choice taken away from him now anyway.
Yeah, so he does not use grab there. You know the Jonak's got the Transcendence on the other side.
And that's a pretty cleanly won fight, right? You just throw a grab in and you win a team fight.
Yeah, but I think so New York would have liked to play close there, but where the cart is, if you play close, you get wiped. They're actually just going to take the underpass.
Flanked, right?
Cart. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get there pretty quick, so
and
they're going to take this.
But New York now know Florida pushing the underpass, so they can set up accordingly. Swan takes damage from literally 3 different directions, and he's discorded. Swan is playing so aggressively, despite being discorded there. Manu just slaps him around with a hammer. He goes down. Florida now at 5 plays. They do at least have a self-destruct to try and force some positioning, but again, I think they try and regroup. They try and get Swan back in the mix, but they're getting staggered out, Matt. I think they made the wrong call. They might not have a chance to get all together before they have to go.
This is where you can play close if New York. You can get up right here near the choke as you know they need to get desperate to go for a touch.
I mean, there's another grab here for Nene in this fight. You can see it. Getting some free ult charge off Zephyr. Transcendence now being used by Hugapun as he tries to push out one of the payload. Florida do dead there. Here's that self-destruct. Mano, though, shield up. Nothing that Swan could do to try and break that. He was caught inside a Graviton surge. So, what? There was no setup! There was no setup! There was nothing there! Florida Mayhem. Sometimes jokes go over your head, and you can accept that, but when self-destructs do and you don't realize it, you're gonna have a bad time. NYXL finishing in style. A self-destruct thrown over the top, and Florida are out of resources to do anything about it. Clean victory, I'd say.
Yeah, very strong performance from the NYXL. I think you can see Florida, though, get better throughout the series. So, you know, the last 2 maps, relatively close, but New York still maintains, still gets that 4-0.
To be fair, Kings Row definitely a map you expect teams to practice on a little bit more. It is sort of the quintessential Overwatch map. In Junkertown, we got to see how the Mayhem harness that momentum and use it to sort of press forward and try and snowball out. We know that they can do that. They almost finished Junkertown with more of a tie, but New York, obviously, the dominant team here. And like I said, I say this honestly, they weren't messing about so much on comms. There was no smiles, no giggles. They were there to work, and they got the job done. Let's head down out of the floor with Danny and a bit of a friend of his.
Thank you guys very much. What is up, everybody? I am here joined by NYXL's main tank, Mono. Everybody make some noise. Amazing job as always. Now, Mono, you're considered one of the best main tanks in the league. The casters have mentioned it, the analysts have mentioned it, but in your honest opinion, what do you think separates you from all of the other main tanks in the league? 자, 마노 선수 좀 굉장한 탱커로서 지금 리그에서 많이 알려져 있는데, 저 리그에서 또 마노 선수뿐만이 아니라 또 수많은 탱커들과 비교를 했을 때 마노 선수가 좀 이게 좀 다른 점이 있다면?
일단 개인적으로 게임을 많이 해서 그래서 여러 가지 이제 상황에서 잘 하는 것 같아요. 그래서 임기응변이 뛰어난 것 같아요. 저는 개인적으로.
그 게임이라고 하면 오버워치를 많이 했다. Because I've played a lot of Overwatch, I think when it comes to certain circumstances and how to win a fight, I think I have a lot of good takes on every situation that I'm currently in. All right, cool. And also, Mono, you know, it seems like NYXL has sort of an easier schedule this stage. In times like these, how do you stay focused and motivated and not get too comfortable? 저 아무래도 이번 스테이지에서는 좀 뉴욕이 스케줄이 조금 더 쉬운 것 같아요. 저번보다. 그래서 이럴 때 좀 어떻게 좀 나태해지지 않는 방법이 있다면?
일단은 스테이지 1 때 별로 플레이오프 때 별로 좋은 성적을 못 내서 이제 나태해지진 않을 것 같고요. 그래서 이제는 플레이오프보다 이제 다음에 만날 상대를 준비하는 거에 신경 쓰고 있습니다.
Unfortunately, in stage 1, we couldn't make it into the playoffs, so I don't think we will ever get too comfortable after that. So we're just focusing on every match, every series, one at a time. And one last, quickly, it was your birthday. It was Mono's birthday, everybody, for those of you that haven't noticed or that didn't know. Yesterday, happy belated. What did you do? And if you have any message for your fans, please say a word. 자, 생일이었고 또 생일날 뭐 하셨는지 그리고 또 거기다가 또 메시지가 있다면 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
일단 어제 생일이었는데 오늘 대회 때문에 딱히 뭘 하진 않았고요. 그냥 연습했었고 많은 팬분들이 응원해 주셨는데 정말 감사하고 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Unfortunately, we had a match, so yesterday I couldn't really do anything. But thank you to all the fans for all the support and all the love. Thank you guys very much. Everybody, give it up for Mono one more time. Happy belated, brother. Back to you guys, casters.
I couldn't do anything yesterday because I had a match, except crush the life from my unsuspecting foes. Mono's got it all. He's got the hardest hitting hammer in the Overwatch League and also the most chiseled jawline. And he had a fantastic performance. The rest of his team looked excellent. He looks happy, but I was very glad to hear that they're not taking any chances after dropping things in stage 1. Let's have a look at your own by HB, Mono of the Macho. Yeah, it's this man. We had to give it to him, especially after those first couple of maps. He just looked unstoppable. Swan struggled against things, especially in the 1-to-1.
And I think what's awesome when you watch Mono play is we see so many crazy main tank play from a lot of players in the league, really flashy play. Like Mono is just so consistent all the time that I feel like sometimes he goes a little bit underrated because he makes everything he does look so easy. But he is so strong. Like they talked about during halftime, you can make an argument. Like there is not a player in the league who can play Reinhardt at this level, Winston at this level, Orisa at that level. Like he has everything. There's nothing really he lacks as a player.
But I'm pretty sure more than half of his deaths actually occurred on Junkertown. That was sort of the only map where most of those came from, and that was a little bit closer than the other matches that we saw thus far. There's a lot of people in the map, and they're looking very excited and expected. Why would that be? What is happening else today?
Oh, I think there's one more match.
That's right. One more match left in the week, and it is the Battle of NA. I'm excited for it. Los Angeles Gladiators take on Los Angeles Valiant. Are there any seats left in the arena?
Not really.
I'll go find one. Yeah, not really. I'll see where I can go find one and watch this match live and in person. The atmosphere's electric. The crowd's going to be going mental. We're counting on you guys to make it noisy in here. For those that are tuning in, stick around. That match is coming up next, and it's bound to be a rip snorter. We'll see you soon.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.